Floods are currently making headlines in Kenya and most parts of the world. So in this particular video, the registered dietitian, I want to talk about the impact that these current floods actually have on food security, food safety, and definitely your nutrition and health status. Because we need to make sure that you are impacted with the needed knowledge to ensure that we prevent the calamities and the effects of natural disasters like floods. You have seen videos of property destructions, you have seen people losing farm, you have seen people losing livestock and such. This has led to loss of livelihood, loss of food. This definitely compromises the quality and the types of foods that they're going to have access to. As a nation, we need to ensure that we put our efforts together towards ensuring that these people who are in crisis are actually protected from the effects of malnutrition in such a time. So what you and I can actually do is ensure that we support the local initiatives, the local communities that are actually collecting food stuff. The second thing that actually floods have done is actually the psychological, the traumatic experience, the psychosocial coping that people actually have. This can actually bring about complications like eating disorders that is related to the impacts that the floods and the disasters have actually had. Of course, there's limited movement of food trucks to the processing farms or to even the other regions. As you saw from the Mai Mahiu, Nakuru Eldoret expressway closed for a minute because of the river that busted, and this definitely altered or affected food transfers to the regions that actually depend on food from those regions, and this definitely compromise on nutrition and health status. Another thing that floods actually do, they compromise on food safety. The flooding itself harbors growth of microorganisms in the food storage cans or the stories that we actually have as our Kenyan communities. In my community, we have stores that are made from common woods and such things. Of course, they are elevated, but you see the flooding, there's been rising of the water levels, definitely getting to the food stuff, and this is definitely affecting the quality and the safety of those foods. And if the community actually end up consuming them, they are going to be affected by getting foodborne illnesses, diseases, and poisoning and others. So it is very important at this critical period of time to ensure that as you are consuming the foods that you had stored earlier, you ensure that they are actually safe. If it's a dry food, like let's say maize, the moisture content is still dry to avoid things like aflatoxins. If things like nuts, grains, and some legumes, ensure that you're also taking care of their safety to avoid being contaminated with these pathogens or these poisonous microbial organisms. Another thing that floods have done is, of course, they compromise food security. As I talked about, there is a lot of wiping of farms, there's a lot of wiping of livestock, and for the farmers who have been depending on farming, on livestock rearing, all these other activities for income generation and such, to help raise their kids, to help run their homes, to ensure that they are doing personal developments and such, it is going to be hard for them to actually do that. And as you and I actually understand, it is not as easy to rise from such a disaster as actually people think or they actually expect. So if you are in a position to actually reach to those centers that have these people who have been rescued from the affected areas, maybe the Nakuru, maybe the Nairobi regions, the slums, the Mathare. You have seen houses being submerged in floods. Like the other day, they were being evacuated. It was no longer safe for humans to stay there. Please try as much as you can to support those communities because it is a time of need as a country. Another thing that floods does, you see, Kenya is a malaria endemic region. This means that we have been struggling with malaria for a pretty long period of time, and the increasing stagnation of water is a lot of the quarries that people have been actually mining. Any small like water catchment that is there will be water. We also have poor drainage in the country, not just on the roads, even in the estates. It's actually pathetic. So we have a lot of water accumulating, and this definitely leads to harboring of things like mosquitoes, which can actually transfer malarias. As dietitians, we are appealing to Kenyans to ensure that they do the right thing, to ensure that they transfer the right information, talk to people about the importance of consuming dense foods if possible, because I understand sometimes it might not be possible. If you are in a position to donate to someone a meal or two, please do that. It is a time of showing humanity to our fellow Kenyan citizens. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Lilian Mumina. I'm a registered dietitian and I create content on food, nutrition, and health. If that is something that you might be interested in, make sure that you also check out my blogs at muminawellness.com. We have nutrition and health tips. It is there for you. We have different topics including floods. I'll definitely leave a link on the same blog script so that you can have a look at it also. And until next time, bye.